distinguished faculty, esteemed guests, proud parents, and the graduates of the MFE class of 2024. It is my great honor to be with you here today to celebrate this significant milestone, the culmination of your years of hard work, perseverance, and growth. You've conquered countless late nights, stressful exams, and projects that have tested your limits. You've proven that you've got the drive, intelligence, and resilience to take on the world. We can feel your pride as you reflect on the journey that brought you to this point, and we share in the excitement for the bright future ahead of you. Your enthusiasm is contagious, inspiring us all. 15 years ago, I stood in your shoes at this very same ceremony as a graduate of the very first UCLA MFE class of 2009. Today, I'm a partner and head of research at Research Affiliates, the quantitative investment management firm I joined as a summer intern and then immediately after graduating the MFE program. How did I get here? My path to finance was somewhat unconventional. I'm sure, like many of you, it was not always directly linear. I was an electrical engineer by training with a PhD in robotics and control. Before joining the MFE program, I was a researcher at an aerospace company, and I had spent the past few years developing a vision-based collision avoidance systems for unmanned aircraft. As my project transitioned from simulation to flight test, my role turned out to be a lot more exciting than your typical desk job. We equipped an experimental aircraft with the system I had been working on and set it on collision course with other aircraft over a restricted airspace near Niagara Falls. As a lead researcher on the project, it was my responsibility to be on board that aircraft in a Top Gun flight suit and monitor the system during these flight tests. I have to say, it's incredibly motivating to make sure that your code works as you intend when you're flying directly at another aircraft at 500 miles an hour and hoping that you avoid collision with less than 1,000 feet. So to put this in context, this was almost 2 decades ago when cameras and computation power was order of magnitudes less powerful than today, before self-driving cars were everywhere around town. And some of our MFEs might have been in kindergarten. It was during one of these business trips when the global financial crisis hit, sending the markets into a free fall. Now, I had long been interested and fascinated with finance and investments, but with the turmoil that was hitting the markets, I became obsessed with learning more. Each night, after a flight test, I would go back to my hotel and read every article I could find about the causes of the meltdown. During my day job, I would use the terms alpha and beta to mean the angle of attack and sideslip angle of the aerodynamic equations in a flight control system. At night, I learned about alpha and beta as measures of risk and return. In my day job, I used the controllers in an aircraft tail to provide stability and performance for the aircraft. At night, I read about the tail risks of collateralized debt obligations that were causing the global meltdown. So quants and quantitative methods were being blamed for triggering the global recession. But paradoxically, the more I read about quants, the more I wanted to become one. I just didn't know how. I still remember the day I first stumbled on the term financial engineer in one of the articles I was reading. In those times, the articles in the media used the term with a decidedly negative connotation. But the term immediately appealed to me because I was an engineer at heart. A Google search later, and I discovered that UCLA was launching a master's in financial engineering program that very next January. It was a eureka moment for me. The universe had spoken, and the UCLA MFE was the answer. But it wasn't an easy decision to join the MFE program. Some colleagues questioned my sanity. Haven't you seen the news? The economy is melting down. Investment banks are going bankrupt. There won't be any jobs for quants left going forward. With a newborn daughter at home and a mortgage to pay, I had palpable fear, uncertainty, and doubt, what this generation calls FUD, for quitting my job and entering finance in the midst of a global meltdown. FUD can easily hold us back from taking risks and pursuing our dreams. So my first bit of advice, don't be afraid to swim against the tide and be a contrarian. Sometimes the best opportunities arise when others least expect them. The key to getting over FUD is to do your homework, believe in yourself, and have the determination to follow through. I want to pivot to a few lessons I've learned in my years since graduating. As a student, I thought my ticket to success was my analytical problem solving. You all know how prevalent brain teasers are in quant job interviews, and it's natural to think that they're the best indicator of your future success. Having graduated from this rigorous MFE program, let me tell you, you've all got the quantitative skills to succeed as quants. But in my years of experience, I've realized that just as important is your ability to influence your organization. To be impactful, you've got to develop your soft skills, engage with your colleagues, and create positive relationships. So just a few tips. Be curious. Always aim for continuous learning and embrace a growth mindset. Don't try to prove you're the smartest person in the room, and question your own assumptions as well as those of others. Be collaborative. Actively seek feedback and give feedback authentically. Be careful not to become defensive or take feedback personally. We all have blind spots, so treat all feedback, even negative feedback, as a gift to help you in your growth and learning. Take initiative. Be proactive in identifying where you can add value into your organization. As you gain experience and you develop, don't wait for your supervisors to tell you the right thing to do. Just go do it. At the same time, don't surprise people. Seek feedback and input as you work to move your organization forward. And finally, beware of unnecessary complexity. As quants, we all tend to be attracted to complexity in our models. So always think through the economics underlying your models and ask yourself if a simpler model would work just as well. Try to think through how would you articulate your methodology to your own grandmother. If you can't articulate that, perhaps you don't understand it well enough yourself. So keep working on it, seek feedback from your colleagues until you do. I want to leave you with a story that has stayed with me from my time in the MFE program. Towards the end of our program, as our professor was wrapping up his final lecture, he told us how he couldn't wait to read the research we would produce. My first reaction was to be incredulous. We'd learned a lot in that short period of time, but it seemed a stretch that we could produce and publish research so soon. Little did I know, within my first year of graduating, I would co-author a paper that's now part of the quantitative asset management course here at UCLA. So class of 2024, I want to leave you with that same energy that the professor gave us as we were getting ready to graduate. The combination of your creativity and your skills that you've developed here is a powerful force that can shape your future. Believe in yourselves as much as we believe in you. I can't wait to see what you'll achieve and to learn from you in the years ahead. Thank you.